You're watching the Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Grand Lake Roofing, Fowler's TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Lanes, Outdoors Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods. You are renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Mary Staff Auto Sales, Tap House at the Square, CSC, Including Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Compton, Guaneri's Pizzeria, and DFW Post 9289.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Frye Show here on Rider Nation Station. Glad to have you along. I'm your host, Joe Hurlbert, alongside head coach Bo Frye. And coach, a tough one on the road last week at Wapak, but we'll take a look at some highlights. We'll put it to bed, so we'll have some thoughts, but always a tough one.
Yeah, you never like to lose those guys, but there was progress, and we're on the right path, and we're going to get there.
Let's do like we do every week. We'll take a look at the Western Buckeye League standings. First of all, let's run down the overall records of each team. The Elida Bulldogs, surprisingly to me, is the only undefeated team in the Western Buckeye League. They're 4-0. They're followed by Salina, Defiance, Van Wert 3-1 with overall marks. Kenton, Wapakoneta, Bath are 2-2. St. Mary's, Shawnee, OG are 0-4. In the Western Buckeye League, Elida and Salina find themselves atop the Western Buckeye League with 3-0 marks. Defiance, Van Wert, Kenton, Wapak, all with 2-1 marks. So there's a host of teams right there in the third position. Bath is 1-2, and St. Mary's, Shawnee, OG 0-3. And I can guarantee if I was a gambling man that St. Mary's or OG is going to come away with a win. I'm going to put my money on St. Mary's.
I hope so.
Let's take a look at last week's scores. If anything pops out, Coach, chime in. Kenton defeated Bath 38-34. Salina defeated Shawnee 31-8. Van Wert, Defiance had themselves a dogfight up there. Now, I don't know if the Castillo kid played last week. Have you heard of anything like that?
Yeah.
But they lost to Van Wert 43-42. That was a good ball game. Elida beat OG 30-8. And Wapakoneta shut out St. Mary's 14-0. As we do each and every week, Coach, let's take a look at your other programs. How's the JV freshman and 8th grade fare?
So the JV last week got beat 8-0 on the last-second touchdown. So we're catching it at all ends right now. The freshman game got canceled. Didn't have enough kids. Wapak and us decided not to play the freshman game. We decided to just play one JV game. And the 8th grade is still undefeated. So
anybody that wants to come out and catch a JV game, freshman game, or 8th grade game, when do they play?
JVs and freshmen play at 10 a.m. on Saturdays. 8th grade plays on Thursdays at 5:30.
Now the JVs play opposite of where the varsity plays, and the freshman goes where the varsity plays.
Correct.
So if you want to catch a game of the underclassmen of the programs that are coming up and is going to feed this varsity system down the road, stop in. I'm sure they appreciate seeing you in the stands and showing your support. Well, the Rough Riders took it on the chin, 14-0 on the road at Wapak, and I'll be honest with you, Coach, 14-0. I personally thought it was going to be a lot worse. I think things are coming together.
In some areas, they are coming together. I mean, the first thing is we're all staying together. You come to practice, it doesn't look like an 0-4 football team. Guys are working their tails off. There's guys who have a lot of hunger and a lot of heart that are trying to find a way on the field because, quite honestly, we're sick of losing. And there's a lot of guys that are sick of losing. We just have to all stay bought in, and it's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at some of the offensive highlights. Our first highlight up is Dominic Osborne comes up with a big run. They're deep in your own territory.
Dom continues to get better. I mean, he's a product of two-platoon football. He gets every rep at right halfback in practice. I mean, the kid is getting better. From week one till now, man, he's a much better football player.
This is the same shot, just from a different angle. Dominic carried the ball 9 times, 55 yards. His longest run was 27 yards. Averages 6.1 per carry. You can do a lot with that.
Correct. What we need now is linemen getting downfield and blocking, because that could have been a touchdown. But guys not finishing plays, that's the next step we have to get to get victories.
Colton Mabry rushed 24 times, 112 yards. And here's Colton on a sweep, getting the corner, and just puts his head down and gets it to midfield.
Yeah, Colton's a physical kid, great kid. a guy you can put your stock in.
Yeah. When you looked at overall numbers, very similar on paper. Total yards 211 for St. Mary's, 246 for Wapak. Not much of a difference there.
Yeah.
This is Dominic Osborne going up the middle, I believe.
Yeah, straight dive.
Yep.
Yeah, he hits it. He's fearless, and that's what you have to be to play running back in our offense.
Rough Riders find themselves inside the red zone. That's Colton Mabry, taking it down to about the 15-yard line.
Yeah.
Starting to smell the goal line a little bit.
Well, we couldn't finish, and that's on us as coaches, and that's on us as players. We have to find a way to get in the end zone.
This was a fourth down, and I think
4th and 4, and we got 3.5. Yep. So, that's just where we're at right now. That's where we're at as a program. That's where we're at as a coaching staff. We got to find ways to finish everything we do.
This is a counter with Dominic Osborne coming back the other way.
Yeah, it's a handback. It looked like it was going to be a 70-yard run.
That's what it looked like, didn't it?
It just kind of sputtered out. But that's about the finish. If we can't finish plays, then we won't be able to finish games. So we're getting closer, but close doesn't help me sleep better at night.
That's right.
Yeah.
Colton bounces to the outside and picks up good yardage.
Heck of a run by Colton.
Yep. As I mentioned, 112 yards. His longest was 15 yards.
Colton's a good football player. I think that's obvious.
There's Noah Dixon on the reverse. He doesn't run the ball much, but he makes the most out of it.
Yeah, that's another handback play that we do that a lot. Dixon, he's playing really good defense for us, but he also can come over and play some split.
Now I think this is your young freshman, Trey Moore at quarterback. He's just a freshman. Yeah. And this is probably by design, was to get him in quarterback and just run the football.
Trey's gifted. And Trey can throw it too. And you're going to see Trey for a lot of years here. But he's a freshman. And Cody's still got his seat on the quarterback job, but Trey's can come in and do a few things that Cody can't.
Right, right. I'll tell you what, one thing he shows is speed.
He can move. You can't teach that.
This is the same play, just bouncing to the outside from behind. Good move, Gare. Another good move there.
Yeah, he has a future in this thing.
But he's not going to get much bigger, is he? He can get stronger.
He'll get bigger, faster, stronger. Trey
Yeah.
loves football, so Trey will find a way to get better.
Good.
Yeah. It's a heck of a run by Mabry. This is where we're milking it down the field here in 14-0 third quarter. Starting to feel like it's starting to go our way. We got to finish here. Middle pass. Cody doing a good job using his legs. I'll tell you what, I've been proud of Cody Wallace's growth.
Yeah.
He's getting better, and he stayed the course with us. And it's real easy for seniors when you're 0-4 to find a way out, but Cody's found a way to stay in it.
Riders are inside the 5-yard line. I think the Riders are turned away here on this particular play.
Yep.
Just didn't get it. But let me ask you a question. Prior to the snap, you're inside the 2, you were inside the 6 in the first half. Mm-hmm. Any thought go through your mind that let's get some points on the board and try a field goal?
Well, we were down 14-0. We were down. I thought we were going to have to keep them with them because at the time, earlier in the game, our defense, we were having trouble on defense. We weren't playing real great defense in the first half. Our second half, we played a lot better defense. Yeah. So I was trying to keep pace, and I thought we needed to score touchdowns, not field goals. Right.
There's a nice completion to Carter Steinberg. I think from watching Cody, he had a nice couple of short passes against Defiance to the tight end. He's very accurate with the short pass.
He is. He feels comfortable with that, and we have to put him in the position where he feels comfortable. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at the defense. The defense played well. They gave up just 75 yards through the air and 171 yards on the ground, and of course, Wapak picked up a lot of their yardage in the first half.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, in the second half, defense came to play. I mean, there were some adjustments made, obviously, and
we were just playing harder.
They didn't score.
we were playing harder in the second half, and a lot of times, guys, we can say this and that, and it's about mindset. And if you're playing hard and you're pursuing to the football, good things happen. And you're seeing guys getting excited, you know what I mean? Jumping up and down, just continues to flow into the football, and that's a big part of defense.
Let's break this play down here. This is a big game by Walpole. What in your estimation, if you're a fan, what needs to happen here?
It was back out, so usually I don't know what kind of call we had on defense, so I'm not 100% sure. But the backers have backs out, and somebody left the back under. Looked like probably Danmeyer or the safety Dixon was supposed to cover this back out. Looked like Danmeyer, who kept coming off the edge. You leave the back wide open, he's going to catch it and hit it for yards. So I don't know exactly what defense we were in that play. So
right here, the defense causes a fumble. The only bad thing, it didn't happen. We didn't fall on it, but it caused a fumble.
It did, and we haven't got a single turnover the entire season.
Put the ball on the ground. Yeah. I think last statistic I saw were -4. So
-5. Yeah, -5. Yeah. So that never wins. Back when we were on top of this thing, we were +31 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we have to find a way to get the daggone ball out, and we got to tackle. You see it right there. We're just not tackling.
Well, the only reason I show this one because that's one of the last plays of the first half. That is the last time Walpock will see the end zone.
Yeah, and they really didn't move it much the entire second half, other than the last possession where we jumped off sides and that sort of thing. But they didn't really move it in the second half.
You go to the locker room, you're down 14-0. Obviously, you have to be pleased. You're only 14 down.
Yeah.
You've got the ball inside the red zone twice, down inside the 5, and just didn't have any points. But confidence has to be there because you're moving the football.
Yeah, we're not. Like I said, you can come to practice. It's not an 0-4 football team.
Yeah.
We're playing hard in practice. We're working our tails off. I said it. We got coaches leaving with bloody foreheads because they're jumping around so much. I mean, it's not your typical 0-4. Nobody's sulking. Nobody's crying. We're all just figuring out how we can win, and it's getting closer.
Here's a big stop by the defense. Of course, ball's on the ground, but still good pursuit.
Yeah.
This didn't give up.
Yeah, it's just effort.
This is an interesting statistic. You dominated time of possession. You had the ball 25 minutes and 5 seconds. Walpock had it 17 and 20. So you dominated there. Both teams had average start on their drives were the 25-yard line. So pretty much the same. The only difference in this ball game was the end result.
Yeah, and 2 times where we should have got it in.
Right.
That's what it is. We're similar programs in the way we approach things and our people, but Walpock may have a few more senior dominant kids here right now.
That's just a good pressure there by your defense. Here's another play that the defense just pins their ears back and heads for the football.
Yeah. See, we cover the back out that time with Dixon. See that right there?
Yeah.
I mean, when it's right, it's right. When it's wrong, it's wrong. I mean, and you see it in the NFL. You know what I mean? It's not we're dealing with kids, and kids are kids, and I love them. I'm not going to fire any of them. Like I said, they just, when it's time to execute, they got to execute.
There's
heck of a play by Compton.
Yeah, Logan
He's playing
Compton.
good football in there. Him and Turner both. Coming off the edge here, nice tackle by Dixon. I mean, that kid's active. He plays hard. Good kid.
And again, good pursuit. You see more than 2 people in the picture.
Yeah.
Here again, the defense still playing hard. This is the 4th quarter, but
playing hard, trying to find a way to win. That's finding a way to win.
There's a screen pass by Walpock. St. Mary's smells this one out.
Yeah, Hunter Mabry did a heck of a job right there. Yeah, it's a good job by him. And there's the end here. Quarterback moves his shoulders a bit, but you can't count on that. We got to be smarter in our.
Oh yeah, he did. Even lunged forward.
Yeah, it's illegal, but you can't blame the officials. I mean, we have to be smarter football players.
Yeah. Art, of course, there's 3 phases to this game that we play, and the other one is the special teams, and this is a good punt by Kessler. And again, he doesn't punt the ball very far, but I'll tell you, the rolls he gets is just amazing.
He has a strong leg, and our guys are getting downfield. I mean, our special teams are improving. Problem is we haven't put ourselves in position to allow our special teams to win this football games.
Right. He averaged 35 yards per punt in this ball game, and another nice punt. Now this will hit, and there it goes.
Yeah, heck of a bounce. It's always good when they bounce far. Yeah, we felt like we needed some juice in the second half, so we came out. And honestly, if we had run through this guy's face, we might have got it. You know what I mean? It's right there.
Exactly.
We kind of pulled up a bit, and I said, hey, guys, you got to go all in, and we got to get this thing. And I get it. It's hard. You're judging where the ball's at and that sort of thing, but we were close.
I watched this play a couple of times, and I thought to myself,
yeah, we could have blocked it.
Not only that, but here on the reception, was Steinberg back 10 yards too far? And then I thought to myself, after I looked at it, if he would have been up where the ball hit, there was a Wapak player right there. So
so it's tough. I mean that. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever fielded a punt, but that's tough. You know, I mean, I maybe did one, not in practice once, but there's 11 guys running at you. You know what I mean? It's a tough decision to make back there.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It is. So that's a look at the Wapak St. Mary's game, and of course we'll put that one to bed, and we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll take a look at this week's opponent, the OG Titans. Riders are on the road. Rider Nation will be there as well. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
You're watching the Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Grand Lake Roofing, Fowler's TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Lanes, Outdoors Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Banks, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods. You are renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Larry Staff Auto Sales, Staff House at the Square, CSC, Cody Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Compton, Gwinnerick Pizzeria, and DFW Post 9289.
Welcome back to the Bo Frye Show. I'm Joe Hurlbert, alongside head coach Bo Frye. You're watching the Bo Frye Show on Rider Nation Station. I want to again thank to all of our sponsors who allow us to do what we do, because without you folks, we wouldn't be here. Let's take a look at the games around the Western Buckeye League, and then we'll talk a little bit about the matchup between OG and St. Mary's. Elida will be on the road. They'll be at Bath. Kenton will be at Salina. That'll be a good game in the Western Buckeye League. Shawnee's at Defiance. Wapakoneta and Van Wert, probably the big game in the league as far as this week is concerned. We'll see how that shakes out when it's all said and done. But the Rough Riders go to OG, and it's not as far as Defiance, but it's still a jaunt.
Yeah, it's always a nice trip. We got to go up there and we got to win a football game.
Both teams come in with identical records, 0-4 overall, 0-3 in the Western Buckeye League. Last week, OG lost to Elida 30-8, so they're struggling as far as scoring points as well offensively. They're averaging about 18 points per contest coming into last week's game. So offensively, they're struggling. Defensively, they're giving up 39 points per game. So Ken Schreiner's ball club is still trying to find their path as well.
First off, they're coached by Ken Schreiner, and that's always a scary thing because he always gets them playing extremely hard, and they still have the people. I mean, they have basketball-type hips-type kids. You watch them on film, they can change direction with their hips. They still have thick bodies that play extremely hard. So they're not a bad football team. Kind of the same way we're not a bad football team. We just haven't had a lot of things go our way in the first half of the season. You know,
when you look at the statistics team-wise, as far as OG is concerned, you know, even though they're giving up 18 points per game, or they're scoring 18 points per game, giving up 39, they're 0. When you look at the overall team statistic, they're still right in the middle. They're like 4, 5, 6 in total team offense, total team defense, things of that nature. So, you know, what do you expect offensively from them? Well, they've been throwing the football, and they've always had skilled athletes.
Yeah, they still have skilled athletes, and they have a good O-line, and they're fundamentally sound. Obviously, it's a Ken Schreiner coach football team.
Right.
I'm in a defense that's on attack mode all the time. So it's not always it's two similar football teams
Right.
to most years. It's just neither of us have gotten things to go our right way.
Well, it should be an exciting contest. Of course, Rider Nation Station will be there to bring it all to you. So, Coach, have a great week of practice, and we'll talk to you next week. Hopefully, we'll have a win.
Hey, that's the plan.
All righty. Until next time, for head coach Bo Frye, I'm Joe Hurlbert. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching the Bo Frye Show, brought to you by these fine sponsors. Grand Lake Roofing, Fowler's TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Land, Douglas Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods. You were renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Larry Staff Auto Sales, Tap House at the Square, CSC, including Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Compton, Gwinnett Pizzeria, and DFW Post 9289.